Hey everyone, Adriel from FunnelFlare here. Today I wanted to show you how to build a recovering unresponsive prospects drip campaign. This is a drip campaign you can build for your salespeople to use with FunnelFlare. This will help with those prospects. You try getting a hold of them, you call them a couple times, you just can't get through, and now it's time for the system to do some really consistent follow-ups with that prospect to try to bring them back into the fold. So we're going to show how to use this this style of drip campaign. For this one, we're going to be using a CRM to build it out, so it's going to integrate with our CRM and be able to be used in there. But we could use it just as easily without a CRM or with other triggers. Now we have a blog post called Recovering Unresponsive Prospects that goes through some of the rationale that goes behind building this campaign. We're also going to build it with you today on this video. Now to create the campaign, what we're going to do is go into the campaigns area under automation. We're going to go new drip campaign. We're going to put in our campaign name. We're going to select user drip campaign because this one's going to be manually added from the contact screen. So we're going to be adding these people as we try calling them and we're not able to get a hold of them. I'm going to go ahead and create without the wizard just because I know what I'm doing and I want to get right into it. And for my campaign, when I first get in here, I've got a choice of a couple of different options here. Now, I'm actually going to use a goal to choose to exit people out of this campaign. So I'm going to check this one off here. And what that's going to do is allow me to set some different exit criteria for people. Mainly, I'm going to be trying to get a response of some kind because I'm trying to reach out to this person, haven't got a hold of them over the phone. So I'm going to set a couple of different goals in here that align with that. I'm going to have form submits, incoming calls. Let's also add email reply to this one, because I think if they reply to the email, that's also kind of doing what I want them to do with this campaign. So we'll add that in there as well. So we can see we have call tracking. So if they call in, if they submit a form like that appointment booking form, or if they reply to an email, we will exit them out of this campaign. Next, let's get into the workflow for the campaign. The workflow kind of goes over what's going to happen and all the different steps throughout. I don't want to send an email right away because I probably just tried calling them, couldn't get on them. Now I'm going to have the system follow up. I'll probably want to do a wait here to start with. So let's go ahead and throw maybe like a 2-day wait in there. There we go. So I've connected that user trigger to a 2-day wait. Next, I can send email 1. Now, email 1 is going to have just a little bit of information in there. I'm also going to try to send them to my appointment scheduler so that I don't have to play phone tag with them. So I'm going to go to the email prospect. I'm going to rename this to email 1. And I'm going to change it to just, I've got a template email here that is very basic. I'm going to load it so I can make changes to it. And then I'm going to go edit it. Now, before I get too far into the layout of this thing, I'm just going to set the subject line in preview text. So you can choose whatever you want to here. I've just got a little bit of information I'm going to be adding in. There we go. I can change my from and to and all that kind of stuff. This contact claimed by, that's going to be the person that is the salesperson for this contact. So that's the person I'm going to use for the from and all that kind of information. Next, I'm going to build the email. Now this one has 2 columns. If I want to just reduce it to 1 column, I can choose structure. I can drag a 1 column in there. Again, I want a nice simple email. There's some lorem ipsum in there. I'm just going to replace that with the text that I want. So I'm going to be saying, hey, first name. And if I don't have their first name, I'll just say, hey there. Just trying to get a hold of you, talk about whatever you're trying to talk about. And then I have a link here as well to my, my appointment scheduler. If you want to, another thing that you might want to consider is adding in your signature in here just to make it look like it's coming from you as well. I don't need these 2 columns, so I can go ahead and delete those guys. And good enough. Now, if they reply or they fill out a form or they call in, the story ends here. But what if they don't? What if they didn't do anything? Okay, well, let's maybe add another wait period in here. Maybe let's wait another 3 days. And let's send them another email. So I'm going to go ahead and email prospect here. And that's going to be email 2. And I'm going to make a new email using that test email. And with this email, I'm going to choose to do that single column thing again. This time I'm going to mention a content piece here. So soft pull, I'll say, hey, I found an article or I found a buyer's guide or something like that, and send that over. Just something to try to start the conversation with them. And also, again, that book an appointment link as well. Just because that is one of my goals, is get them to book a call with me. I'll remove those two columns because I don't need those. And again, I would really recommend putting a signature in here just to make this video quick. I'm not going to bother. Oh, don't forget your subject lines either. There we go. Good enough. Now, just like with email 1, if something happens, if they reply, if they call, if they book an appointment, the story ends here because they've completed a goal. But what if they don't? Well, let's try this one more time. So maybe we'll wait 1 week this time just to give them a little bit more time. And we'll put that for a week. And then we'll go on to email number 3. Now with this email, I would recommend putting in a statement that qualifies or disqualifies your prospect. There's not really much to lose at this point. We've tried to get a hold of them. We haven't been able to get a hold of them. We tried the automation. The automation's not doing much for us. So this email, I'm going to try to elicit a response of some kind. And one of the ways you can do that is to try to disqualify them. So in this instance, I'm saying, maybe you're not ready to make a decision. When you're ready, let me know how I can help. And the reason why I'm using that language is to, again, to elicit a response. This may work in your instance, or it may not. It's really you're the expert in your industry. I found this to work with a lot of these unresponsive campaigns. And again, I would want to set my subject line in here to something that's a little bit different. So something like final check-in maybe might do the trick. Again, up to you, and you know your industry better than I do. Now, one thing you might want to consider with a campaign like this is, if you're using it alongside a CRM, is to pass it back to sales to do a final check over of this prospect to make sure that we're good with closing out the deal if you automatically created a deal for this. So for this one, we're going to create an activity. This isn't going to automatically close out the deal. This just creates an activity so the salesperson can look at it and decide if it should be closed or not. I'm going to give it a subject line that has the contact's first name and the business name and say that they're unresponsive. I'm going to put some descriptions in the notes on this activity. I'm going to uncheck the done because I want them to actually complete this activity, and I want them to manually close out the deal. So let's go ahead and put a descriptive name in there and then hook it up to our workflow so that that'll be the last thing that happens. It'll add an activity so that the salesperson can take one final look at this prospect and decide whether they want to do anything with them or not. Now, before you launch this and go live, a couple of things that would be good to check. One would be just checking your emails. Send a test email to yourself for all of the different emails. And you can do that by going into the email, going into edit, and then hitting the test email button up here. That can give you the option to send the emails to yourself, and then you can check to see if it looks correct, if the subject lines are correct, and all that kind of thing. There's also an option here to check links that will automatically show you what links it has in the email, and you can see if they're correct or not. Now, once you've done that testing with yourself, I would recommend testing this with one live prospect just to make sure it's, again, doing what you want it to do. And then start using it. Start saving time. The whole idea here is you've tried getting a hold of the prospect. They're not responding to your calls. They're not responding to your emails. You've gone through your traditional sequence, and now it's time for the automation to handle the last touches in a very consistent manner. And then hopefully get a response. And if you don't get a response, at least you didn't have to spend time chasing after a tire kicker of a prospect, and the system did it for you. So again, if you have any questions about this, feel free to reach out to Funnel Flare support, and we'd be happy to help.